And then of course I covered how by investing in your unmanaged partners by implementing a virtual account management team, you'll improve partner satisfaction, give your partners more purposeful direction, and protect your partners from your competitors, but ultimately drive more revenue. So talk a little quickly about how channel enablers and CSG can help.
Okay, thanks Joby. 25-to-1 return on investment. That's not a bad value proposition of your own there. That's pretty impressive. So I guess those of you who know channel enablers would be familiar with, we have both a consulting and a training arm. And we're totally focused on high-tech channels. So our customers are pretty much all of the major IT vendors around the world, the blue chips from the big guys down to some of the startups as well. So I like to say we get to see what works well in the field and also what doesn't, so we can learn from that. So in relevance to this piece, we can help you to select and plan the most effective route to market or combination of routes to market to take a product out there. We can help you to match your value proposition to your partner selection and recruitment criteria as well, to make sure that you've got the right kind of mix of partners on board to take your product out there successfully. And of course we can train your channel salespeople to build their skills, to communicate your value proposition, to influence partners and help them to understand the partner businesses, and to build peer-to-peer relationships with partner executives. And then for partners that are on board, we can train them to manage, coach and develop partners through the entire planning and execution cycle. So I'd encourage you please to visit channelenablers.com and have a look through all of the material that's there. And if you're not a member of the Partner Manager Resource Centre, please sign up. Registration's free and there's a wealth of resources there. And just a heads up for this audience, there'll be a brand new Partner Manager Resource Centre launched very soon with online interviews and case studies and lots more material. And as I said, it doesn't cost anything. Thanks, Joby. Over to you.
Great, thank you, Phil. So Channel Services Group, we work with large technology companies to help them drive revenue through their indirect sales channels. And we do that with a combination of our open line services. So these are the programs that I've talked about throughout the webinar series, so virtual account management teams, partner accelerator teams, and helping your efforts around partner recruitment and onboarding. As well as we have a SaaS offering called Blue Roads that is ultimately a partner opportunity management solution. So it manages deal registration, lead management, lead referral programs with an overlayer of partner relationship management. And through a combination of both the SaaS software offering and our open line services, we help a number of our clients really develop those client relationships and drive revenue through the partners while providing very rich reporting back to our clients about what kind of deals are out in the market, what's their pipeline actually look like, what's their quarterly revenue going to be next quarter, and so forth. So if you have any questions about any of that or how we might be able to help, we'd be happy to talk with you. So just again, kind of in review and really to just as a reminder, if you missed any of the other the previous webinars or would like to re-listen to either Bram or Phil or my voice again, all of the webinars will be available on both Channel Enablers and CSG's website. Again, to view it on Channel Enablers, go to channelenablers.com, go to the Partner Management Resource Center that Phil just spoke about, and then under online training, you'll see the recorded webinars. On csgchannels.com, you just hover over the Login Register tab, click on Webinars, and you'll be able to see the webinar series there as well. So now let's hand it over. It looks like a number of questions have come through, so I'll hand it back to Tina, and we can answer any questions that came in.
Thank you, Joby. We certainly do have quite a few questions that have come in throughout the webinar. So I will direct the questions to both Philip and Joby. The first question is for you, Philip. What would you say are the keys to keeping partners active?
Okay, that's a good question, and I spoke about that briefly during my section. I'd probably put my finger on the number one thing. There are many things to do, but the number one thing probably is just simply to review your partners. So are they doing what they say would do and what they agreed to do and what you need them to do. And of course that means you need to know what you want them to do. So in turn it means, are roles and responsibilities really well thought through? Have they been clearly communicated? Have they been agreed? So every action comes at a cost, and you need to understand this cost to partners and adequately compensate them as well. So review your partners is probably, it sounds simple, but that's probably the number one to keep them active. I think the second thing is, I've mentioned earlier on also, just a consistent approach. So take consistency and apply it to review. If you turn up every quarter for a quarterly review and you go over all of the actions that were planned in the previous 90 days, after about the third time of doing that, the partner is going to understand, hey, these people are serious. They've actually listened to what we said we'd do and they're following up on it. And in my experience, when you do that, and it does take a little while, but after that 6 to 9 months, people start doing the things they say they're going to do. So that really helps to keep them active. Thanks, Tina.
Great. Thank you, Philip. So Joby, a question for you. In your example, you said that they had 6,000 partners, but only 1,800 wanted to grow. Why did the others not want to grow?
That's a great question. So, I think a lot of times our vendors that we work with are shocked when we kind of call through their tier 2 or tier 3 partners and ask, some fairly simple questions like this. And a lot of this goes to what Phil was saying about how well do you really know your partners. I think if you investigate your, tier 2 and tier 3 partners in particular, you're going to find that a number of them are just at that point in their business cycle where they're either getting close to retirement and they have 12 people on staff and they just really don't want to manage a 13th. They're happy working off a referral business or just living with their existing clients that they've had for years and don't care to try to do a bunch of marketing and customer acquisition. And I think you'd be surprised at how many partners are out there that are living that world. And so a lot of that comes down to cash flow. They just don't have the cash flow to invest to do some of these things. So you could tell those people all day about how bringing on a new product line or joining this marketing campaign or whatnot is going to help them drive more revenue, but it means you haven't listened to them or gotten to know them because they just aren't interested in doing those sort of things. So again, it's not an unusual percentage there, going from 6,000 to 1,800, especially in this example it was on around the SMB space. So these tended to be a bit smaller partners.
Great. Thanks, Joby. Philip, next question is for you. The question is, our products contribute a small part of our partners' overall revenue. How do we get these partners actively selling?
Okay, that's a common dilemma, and vendors who, of course, think their product is the center of the universe are often surprised, dismayed, disappointed by, why aren't partners going out there selling our products? Now, we kind of categorize them in 3 ways, Tina. We think about, there are some partners who would regard the vendor product as primary. In other words, it's a big part of their revenue, and those partners know they need to invest because it's center of their business. There's another class that probably regards them as secondary. Hey, they're important products, but they're one of a class. So, let's say you're a storage reseller and you carry stuff from all the top storage vendors. So each one of those vendors, storage overall is important to your business, but each one of those vendors' products it's just one of a few. And so, customers say, hey, that's too expensive. The reseller doesn't show a lot of brand loyalty and says, oh, if you don't like that one, what about this one? It's a little bit cheaper. And that's the tough area. That's where you really need to get in there and sell and get close to the partner to get above the pack. But probably the third category is what we call the tertiary relationship, which relates to the question, which is where you're happy with the channel partner carrying your product, but it is a very small part of their revenue. And vendors beat their head against that brick wall all the time, Tina. They keep spending sales resources on trying to get greater mind share and attention from those partners, and they're unlikely, frankly, to succeed because it will remain a small part of the revenue. So in those situations, often the vendor's better off spending their money on end-user demand creation, because if a customer walks in the door, the metaphorical door perhaps, and asks for that product by name, then the reseller is going to be happy to sell it. So for the tertiary product classification, I'd spend your money on demand creation.
Perfect. Next question is for you, Joby. It's a little more tactical. Do account managers interact with field sales teams? It seems they should.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the various virtual account management teams we run for different clients, it does vary to a degree, but ultimately, at bare minimum, let's just say that if they're going to be talking with these partners, they're going to be hearing about opportunities that maybe hit a certain threshold that just demand that the field sales team gets involved. So either large client or just a large sizable deal. So it makes sense that for bare minimum get the field engaged at that point. But also it's good, with all the turnover and everything that we're seeing in the partner community, given the economy and whatnot, vendors need to be making sure they're keeping their eyes out for who's going to be their next top partners. And those are going to come from these Tier 2 and Tier 3 partner organizations. So making sure you get to know them, building those relationships with them is going to ensure that you keep your revenues where they're at and continue to grow them and not lose when one of your partners gets acquired or goes out of business. So yeah, field sales should definitely be involved with the virtual account managers.
Perfect. Well, it looks like we don't have any additional questions. We did have one additional question that was early on in the presentation. People were asking if they could get a copy of the presentation, and absolutely yes. If you would like a copy of the PowerPoint deck, simply email Philip or Joby, and their emails are on the screen right now. Except for Philip, his first name is Philip with a P and not that symbol is on there. So make sure that you use the correct email address. You can email philipmoon@channelenablers.com or jobyp@csgchannels.com if you would like a copy of the deck. Also, we will have the webinar available for future viewing on Channel Enablers website, as we've mentioned before, as well as Channel Services Group. And if you have any other questions or channel challenges that you would like to discuss with either Philip or Joby offline, feel free to contact them directly. They'd be happy to answer any additional questions that you may have. So it looks like no more questions. Thank you all for attending. We appreciate your time and look forward to helping you build the best channel program to engage your partners in 2011 and beyond. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.